Hi. So this morning, what I'm going to do real quick, and this is going to be just a short little video. I just wanted to add a few things to this. One of the things I want to kind of, in terms of a lesson, I guess, to my classes, is that you want to do things in anticipation of other things when you're painting. So do things knowing that those things will eventually change. I think a lot of times we think of our artwork that we're making as being sort of that moment. And that's one way to think about it. But you can also plan ahead a little bit and try to do things, again, anticipating other types of reactions. So what I want to do with this painting is just make this area here more complicated and a little bit darker, so more forms. And in anticipation, eventually later today, I'm going to put a darker wash across this, basically the whole thing except for the moon form. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to add a little bit of complexity, little dimension, little just kind of, I don't know, I'll just mess around with it here for a bit. Not long though. You can just kind of watch. And again, just to remind you all, in my 3 different classes, the things that I'm doing I think can apply to whether you're in life drawing or you're in painting. I know I'm working on a painting right now, but you know, it doesn't matter. Drawing, painting, it's all the same. Well, not really, but kind of, whatever. So I'm just going to enhance, add. Again, like I mentioned yesterday, I'm looking out at the trees and kind of, I was out there cutting them yesterday afternoon actually, so I was getting intimate with them. I want to just add a rhythmic complexity in this area that I'm just thinking of as the orchard or the woods. There are times when I want to make a really clumsy line, like this one just feels kind of like awkward and clumsy. Other times I want to try to do a more graceful line. For this whole foreground area, I want to really do some, like, lots of clumsy lines that feel, I don't know, well, just clumsy. You know, I don't like this brush, how this brush is working today. Sometimes certain brushes work better on certain days. That one was not working as well as I like it. So I got this little pointy one a little bit. Maybe I want like sharper marks. That's better. Now, one of the things I remember, I'm just thinking about my drawing class. Those of you in my drawing class watching this, remember to always rotate your pencil, move it, kind of build some unpredictability into it. As I'm painting with my brush, I'm reminding myself of that. You want to build unpredictability and a sense of randomness in the marks you're making. A feeling, it's a difficult feeling because it's like you're not in control, and that's kind of what you want to do. You want to kind of be not in control of what you're doing, which is, for a lot of people, it's kind of a huge contradiction, right? We all want to be in control, especially now with all this virus stuff. We just want to. I was reading this article about how kind of the natural response to what's going on now is to try to organize your house. And so Wilbur and I have been doing that. We've been like, I'm not outside doing it. I'm out cutting wood and everything and trying to clean things up. And we were moving our office spaces around earlier last week, and we were, I was cleaning out my studio and just really kind of trying to structure my immediate surroundings to create a sense of order and control. And I think that's what we want to try to do with our artwork too. But on the other hand, I think there's this relationship between lack of control and maybe even loss that's really scary for people. But it's what you have to have in a painting, I think. I don't know what to do with this. I'm like staring at it like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go with some like marks like this. And this is just simple strategy. It seemed like it would be boring for this particular one to kind of keep making marks like that. So I'm just changing them here. Throw in like that. an image just flashed in my mind, and this could be our current moment kind of filtering into my thinking, but I was thinking of Goya's Disasters of War and those tree forms that he makes, and I was kind of thinking of these with that. Those of you in my class here, look up Goya's Disasters of War. Okay, that's looking better. I'm gonna remember yesterday I was dropping water into kind of the areas, washes that I just put down, and they just kind of, the water tension pushes the pigment out, creating little blooms of changes in the tone. You can see right there, that just adds interest. And again, the whole notion of unpredictability and randomness. My hand is shaking, too much coffee. That's okay though. And then this part here, I'm gonna throw just for the moment, I don't like these lines right here, they just feel stiff or something. So I'm gonna take my flat wash here and just throw water on top of that, letting them do their thing. And I know they're sort of halfway dry, halfway wet. So I'm gonna let them, that looks nice. Yeah. Yeah, see, when things are half dry, like that, I made that mark right when I started, so it was partially dry. So paint, water always dries from the edges in, because it's thickest in the middle here, right? The water's the thickest. So it starts to dry on the edge of where the dry paper is inward. So if you hit it with like a wash like that, when it's halfway dry, the edge is dry, but the middle isn't. So it kind of blooms out, leaving this sort of shadow mark. Those of you in my painting class, if you have watercolors around, go ahead and use them. I know a lot of you don't. I discourage you from using your oil paint. And if you have your acrylic, you can go ahead and start painting with your acrylic if you have the space. But if you have watercolors, it's okay to do watercolors right now. I think of watercolors being a really great medium for Armageddon or the apocalypse, because it's like really portable. So if I have to suddenly run away, I can carry my paintings with me. That's kind of a joke. That's cool. Okay, enough for now. Okay, here's the current state of this painting, just to give you a good look at it. And again, you can see there's where I was talking about the paint drying from the edges out, creating a little shadow area. Let me see if I can grab a pointer. Right here, you see that? Here's where there's like blooms happening. Here's where there's like nice textural changes when I was dropping clear water, and then the pigment gets pushed to the edges of the water as it moves, and that creates just really interesting passages of changes in tone and stuff. And then here's where I hit it with the wash, the clear wash, just kind of muck it up a bit because they felt stiff. Now they feel really nice. And I'm using the texture of the paper, just dragging the brush sideways. You probably saw me doing that, creating just a variety of textures and interests. So anyway, there it is. I have to get out of my bathrobe for a faculty meeting on Zoom, a Zoom meeting. Talk to you later, bye. Okay, here's the current state of this painting, just to give you a good look at it. And again, you can see there's where I was talking about the paint drying from the edges out, creating a little shadow area. Let me see if I can grab a pointer. Right here, you see that? Here's where there's like blooms happening. Here's where there's like nice textural changes when I was dropping clear water, and then the pigment gets pushed to the edges of the water as it moves, and that creates just really interesting passages of changes in tone and stuff. And then here's where I hit it with the wash, the clear wash, just kind of muck it up a bit because they felt stiff. Now they feel really nice. And I'm using the texture of the paper, just dragging the brush sideways. You probably saw me doing that, creating just a variety of textures and interests. So anyway, there it is. I have to get out of my bathrobe for a faculty meeting on Zoom, a Zoom meeting. Talk to you later. Bye.